During the Russo-Japanese War, 1904 to 1905, France played a complex and somewhat indirect role, balancing its interests in both supporting its ally Russia and dealing with the strategic implications of the conflict in East Asia. The war, fought between the Russian Empire and the Empire of Japan, centered on the control of Manchuria and Korea, two regions vital for imperial ambitions. France's involvement was largely diplomatic and strategic, shaped by its alliances and its imperial interests. Support for Russia. France had a long-standing military alliance with Russia, formalized in 1894, which was part of the broader European strategy to counterbalance the growing power of Germany and Austria-Hungary. This alliance was critical during the Russo-Japanese War, as France provided political and military support to Russia, even as the war intensified. 1. Military assistance. Although France did not directly intervene in the conflict, it provided significant support to Russia. This assistance included the provision of military advisors, financial aid, and diplomatic backing. The French government was keen to prevent Japan's victory, which could alter the balance of power in the region and weaken Russia as an ally. 2. Naval concerns. France was concerned about the implications of Japan's naval power. The French Navy recognized Japan's growing maritime strength, especially after the Japanese victory in the Battle of Tsushima, 1905. While not directly involved in naval combat, France closely monitored the war's naval outcome, knowing that a powerful Japanese fleet could influence French naval interests, particularly in the Mediterranean and East Asia. Diplomatic efforts. Throughout the Russo-Japanese War, France acted as a diplomatic intermediary, trying to prevent the war from escalating into a larger global conflict. While the French government supported Russia, it also sought to maintain stability in Europe and Asia, ensuring that the war did not disrupt France's broader imperial interests. 1. Neutral stance in public. While publicly supporting Russia, France maintained a neutral stance in the actual fighting. This allowed France to preserve its broader alliances, including its relationships with Britain, which had its own interests in the war but was allied with Japan. 2. Treaty of Portsmouth. France did not play a direct role in the negotiations that ended the war with the Treaty of Portsmouth, 1905. However, France supported the peace settlement, understanding that the Russian defeat would have consequences for European politics. The treaty resulted in significant territorial losses for Russia, including the cession of Port Arthur and Korea to Japan. While France was disappointed by Russia's defeat, it still valued the Russian alliance. Impact on France's position. The Russo-Japanese War had mixed implications for France. On one hand, France's support for Russia was rooted in the desire to maintain its alliance, which would later prove crucial during World War I. On the other hand, the war exposed the growing strength of Japan, a factor that influenced French policies in Asia and Europe. 1. Sino-French relations. The war also highlighted the geopolitical competition between imperial powers in East Asia. As a colonial power in Southeast Asia, France was wary of Japan's growing influence in the region, particularly as it challenged Western powers' control over China and the Pacific. 2. European balance of power. The French government was concerned that Japan's victory over Russia could shift the European balance of power, creating a stronger, more assertive Japan. Despite these concerns, France continued to prioritize its alliance with Russia even after Japan's victory, which led to France increasing its military and diplomatic focus on maintaining the balance with Japan. Conclusion. While France did not participate directly in combat during the Russo-Japanese War, its role was marked by diplomatic support for Russia and a strategic concern for the shifting balance of power in Asia. France's alliance with Russia remained a central aspect of its foreign policy, even as the outcome of the war shifted the global dynamics. The war illustrated the growing influence of Japan in East Asia, a factor that would influence France's imperial and military strategies in the years leading up to World War I.